This is how my voice sounded in 2020, before I knew I had an inhibited voice. I want you to pay attention to how tight my voice sounds and how much effort it seems to be taking me to get my words out.
Rule number 5 in 12 Rules for Life by Professor Jordan Peterson is do not let your children do anything that makes you dislike them.
And this is how I sound now, after I've released the tension from my voice. And I want you to pay attention to the comfort and confidence in my voice.
We'll speak about the macro idea of flow, and we'll speak about the micro idea of flow, and then we'll give several examples to help you achieve state of flow in your day-to-day life.
There's an obvious difference. This one is much more engaging. If you want to know how I achieved this vocal transformation, subsequently transforming my whole speech, in this presentation I share with you one of the most common yet overlooked speech problems, my personal struggle with it, and the most sustainable solution I've discovered to overcome it. When you open up your voice, every aspect of your life improves. Your relationships get better because your communication becomes more comfortable. Your job and your career excels faster because now you can express your ideas with more conviction and confidence. If you stick till the very end, I have a very special gift for you. Enjoy.
How many of you have ever experienced, maybe in a meeting at work or in family gatherings or with friends, trying to say something, but something stops you? Maybe some tension, some nerves, or maybe the narrative is, if I say this, it's gonna sound completely different than what I envision. And you just stay silent instead, with show of hands. It doesn't feel good. Today I'm gonna share with you one of the most overlooked and common speech problem that I call an inhibited voice, my personal struggle with it, and a sustainable twofold solution that I've discovered. One part is psychological and one part is physical. When I was about 7 years old, my mother took me to an ear, nose, and throat doctor to see why I was so quiet most of the time. They ran me through the exams and they said I was fine. So I just moved on with life thinking I'm just an introvert. I'm just a quiet person. I'm not rambunctious. But the truth is, it held me back. It held me back in school. When I got older, it held me back in jobs. And in all my relationships, I was only expressing a fraction of what I was feeling. I was only expressing a fraction of what I was thinking. Forward 2 decades later, when I was 27 years old, I'm sitting in a meeting with 4 other co-workers, and one of them was presenting a project with an undeniable confidence. And I wanted to participate and say the simple word, okay. But for some reason, I couldn't get it out. It just got stuck in my body. I was frustrated, I was confused. I just wanted to know why this was happening. So I decided to reach out for an ear, nose, and throat doctor once again. He put a telescope through my nose, down my throat. He looked and confirmed that I have tightness in the muscles in my voice. I was happy I got a diagnosis this time. Now that I'm more aware of a problem, I can find a solution. Unfortunately, he walked back to his laptop to prescribe me a muscle relaxant that will make things worse for me in the long run. And it's also a band-aid instead of getting to the root cause of the problem. So I refused to take the muscle relaxant and I decided to look for the root cause and sustainable solutions. I came across literature of body psychotherapy, saying that as children, the first time we heard, be quiet, children are to be seen and not heard. Or maybe when we spoke up in class and somebody laughed at us or the whole class laughed at us, our brain created defense mechanisms of tightness in the belly, in the chest, and in the throat to stifle our expression. Because the brain thinks if we don't speak, nobody's gonna scream at us. And if we don't speak, nobody's gonna laugh at us. But that's a less than optimal coping mechanism. As we go through life, we wanna have meaningful relationships, we wanna excel in our careers, and all that is through expressing vocally our emotions and our ideas. Now that I learned that the root cause is in the psychological world, it's in the mental programming that has been happening since childhood, I said, okay, let me start with psychotherapy. And for 2 to 3 years, on and off, I started to do psychotherapy with several different therapists. And when I tell them my theory and what I've learned and what I think is happening with me, it seemed to me like they never heard of this before. So I wanted to go deeper. I explored so many different healing methodologies, and I discovered one of the most effective ways is NLP. I learned and became trained in NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming. Neuro-Linguistic Programming is one of the most effective ways to go into our unconscious mind, the programming that has been running our life since we were children, and upgrading it, removing the viruses and upgrading the software so that we function better and we perform better. And one of the best way to explain NLP is with an example. Just last Monday, I was working with a client who was struggling with creating new friendships in meetings in his work, whether he's speaking to his seniors or when he's giving a presentation to many, many people. His voice would tighten up and his voice would literally change. He would sound different. Before he saw me, he actually went to an ear, nose, and throat doctor and he told him he was fine. Yet he had his list of struggles. During the coaching session, we discovered that in his mental programming, his coding, so to speak, he believed that he was timid, that he didn't have something important to say, and that he didn't have a captivating way of speaking. Subsequently, he would stay in the corner and he would feel like he's wasting his potential. During the coaching sessions and going through life coaching and NLP techniques, we were able to change those beliefs, this mental programming, to become, I can be charismatic, I can be convincing, and I can speak to anyone, if they're seniors, if they're extremely attractive, or if they're extremely super high status, in the same way I speak to my close family and friends. And with this resourceful programming, it's so easy to express our emotions and feelings in any situation to anyone, be it business or personal relationships. People tell me, well, that life coaching and NLP sounds too good to be true. I tell them, well, just like your phone, over the years, if you don't clean up the files, if you don't clean up the folders, and it keeps accumulating, and then the applications get outdated, and the software gets outdated, it's gonna run slow, it's not gonna function properly. Once you clean it up and upgrade the software, it functions well. It's the same way with our mental programming. When we upgrade it, we function well. And that is the psychological aspect of the solution. Now I discovered that I was left with the physical aspect. I knew how to heal the psychology and free my mind and other people's mind from these limiting beliefs that create the tightness, but my voice still had the remaining chronic tightness from all these years of voice inhibition. So I invested time, money, and energy with the best vocal coaches in the world. And they taught me exercises that helped me gain some results, but the results were temporary. I would do the vocal exercises and my voice would improve for maybe an hour or two, and we'd go back to feeling tight again. So I decided to take a step further and experiment on my own through taking risks on my own voice. Trial and error, and with divine grace, I started to get sustainable results. I would wake up every day and my voice is more and more open and resonant. I was surprising myself because I never heard this kind of voice before, because it has been buried under years and years of tightness built up. Now I'll share with you one of these exercises that helped me open up my voice. Our voice is much like this guitar. It has the strings and we have the vocal cords right here. And the guitar has the sound box to amplify the sound vibration from the strings. And we have the chest and the belly to amplify the sound coming from our voice. Now, if I stuff this guitar with clothes, for example, and play it, it's gonna sound muffled. The same way, if we have tightness in the belly, in the chest, and in the throat, and we speak, we're gonna sound small. But if it's open, we're gonna sound open. When we speak, we send sound vibration out into the world. And when we use that sound vibration directed inwards, it can start releasing the tension that has been built up in the throat, chest, and belly. So I invite you all to hum. You can hum, and I'll give you 3 tips. The first tip is, as you're humming, notice where the vibration is in your voice. Is it in your throat? Is it in your chest? Is it in the front of your mouth? Just become aware of it. The second tip is, notice where there's tension. Is there tension in the back of your throat? Is there tension in the front of your chest? And direct the vibration towards those areas. And the third tip, an overarching theme, is you want to bring the vibration lower and lower in your body, all the way down to the hips, believe it or not. Because we are meant to speak from our whole body and not just our throat. You do that for 2 to 3 minutes, you'll notice your voice opening up, you'll notice you're more calm and relaxed, because that's how powerful the voice is. That was the overlooked speech problem that I call an inhibited voice, my personal struggle with it, and the most sustainable solution I've discovered, both psychologically and physically, to overcome it. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you for sticking till the end. Because you're so faithful and committed, I'm gonna give you a gift. But before I do, hit the like button so the knowledge reaches more people. Now, in the link below is a free access to a mini course that will walk you through, in details, how to open up your voice so that you speak with confidence for life. Click the link below and I'll see you on the inside. Talk soon.